Сега ще чуем Google. Не можем без най-големите в бранша, защото Елизабета Мораru е част от мениджърския екип на технологичния гигант, ръководейки бизнеса му точно в нашия регион. В България, в Румъния, в Молдова и в Унгария. Работи в Google от 12 години, президент е на борда на Junior Achievement, член е на Румънската търговска камара за многообразие, както и на борда на AmCham. От Елизабета ще разберем как генеративният изкуствен интелект може да стимулира производителността, растежа на бизнеса и икономическите възможности специално в нашите държави. Елизабета, добре дошли. Thank you for joining us. Welcome on stage. How are you?
Добре юшчи.
Добър ден. Добро утро. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm privileged to be this morning.
I'm
like,
right.
look, I'm jiggling.
Do you like these
I'm
people?
excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we are very similar in cultures and in evolutions of economies and in many things. So I find it a privilege to be in front of you, and I'm very excited to present today.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks. I do find it difficult to follow Petra because she had an amazing presentation. Yet I think the joint conscience helped me prepare some examples as well that will further support what she has been presenting. So thank you for allowing me to spend approximately 20 minutes together and open also the conversation from the perspective of Google in terms of what AI means and what will come. And I thought a lot because I don't know you. So I said, what would this audience like to find out from me today, this morning, not tonight, about how AI can do good? And I decided to do this type of approach because I think it's very easy and it's firsthand to talk about what AI can do bad. And I decided to go with this because I heard this story from Matt Britton, one of our colleagues, who said, I had a meeting with a very important political person in Europe, and she asked me, this AI is really bad. What will you do about it? And he said, well, you see, this fork that we're eating with, it can be the best instrument for us to get the food and digest it. Or just as well, if I can take it and stab you, it's really bad instrument. So my conscience decides in this dinner what I do with this instrument. And this is the same approach that I would like to present today. And why? Because I want to tell you a personal story. I was raised by a single mom, and we were two girls, and she said, you need to study and you need to work. And she was a excellent role model for me because she was an accountant and she was coming at home in the 90s after work with her work at home. And she had long sheets of paper and she was asking us, you take the ruler and the pen and you check the numbers I'm telling you, because she was doing the accounting of the company she was working for. And we were helping her. And one evening she came home with a notebook, not notebook LM, but a notebook. And she said, look, I'm learning something new and it will change my work. And we were kids. And you know what she was learning? She was learning Foxborough. And it was an accounting computing system software that she was learning, and ever since then she started using the computer. And I kid you not, she was drawing the clapboard with start, enter, and what they do, each of them. She was 30-something, and she was discovering technology at a different way of living. And this year, I spent a lot of time in the summer doing a lot of certifications on Gen AI, because I'm not a technical person. I just married a programmer to get close to this. I kid you not. So I started learning about AI because I think this is the only way forward. I need to understand it before I say yay or nay. So I was learning, and my older daughter, she's 16 almost, she came to me and I was like, hell, I don't understand. What the hell is this? Can you explain to me? I was saying this to my husband and she said, don't worry, Mom, I can explain to you. And I was thinking about this generational swap in 30, 40 years' time. My mom was learning the enter button, and my daughter can teach me how to prompt an AI. So if this happened until now, what will happen next, right? So the inflection point that we're talking about is based on numbers. And yes, when I heard for the first time the dial-up sound, some of you here I almost see that had the same noise, like ching, 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 waiting for some minutes to get online and have really bad experience. Now, more than 73% of the population has a smartphone that has clearly more computing power than the computer I had when I was in the 90s. Further on, we are talking about AI, and I know this is a race, right? Some said it's a dance, we need to dance. And yes, I do think what Petra said is very right. It's not about what happens today, it's how we build the next 10, 20 years. And as a company, I've seen working within what happens and what the power of TPUs, tensor processor units, goes, and how the economy at scale of how this computing power can change the way we are doing business, actually. And you did need to know that one of the first AI-powered tools that Google ever had was Translate. And funny enough, the 3 most searched sentences in Google Translate are, hello, how are you, and I love you. So, yeah, so that makes me wonder whether AI cannot help us be more human than we think we could be. Why I'm showing you, though, this is also because right now we have more than 133 languages on Google Translate. And it's all powered by AI. And I'm presenting you a narrative, like a story today. But the company has decided that this narrative cannot exist without these 3 words: bold, responsible, and together. And this sounds like big words, but I want to explain why and give you just a few examples. I had to just decide a few of them because of the short time today, but I felt really elevated by some of them and empowered to believe in my lifetime some diseases will be eliminated. Because, for example, AlphaFold is AI-powered tool. And to Petra's question, if you had 1 million interns to solve your issues, this one actually says, what if a PhD analysis, 5 years long time, can be done in a few seconds with the power of compute? With AlphaFold, we have discovered how more than 200 proteins are created. What's their composition? And AlphaFold 2 right now works on understanding the interaction between proteins. That's something extraordinary also because approximately 2 million researchers have access to this because it's opened to the usage. And this is the power of this technology. Another example, and I'm very privileged to say that we have also launched in Romania last year Flood Hub. Another example similar to what you see here, because we are living in a world where we need to understand what happens around us, and climate is changing in a way that is not really the one we want. And for example, Flood Hub, the example that I've mentioned, it was launched also in Romania and 80 countries as well. It predicts with 7 days in advance the potential of having a flood in a region. And normally, the institutions that you might have at your disposal give you this 24 hours in advance. And you have seen what happens around us in Europe only, around this theme. So how important is this to safeguard lives? Another example, this is also used in Budapest, in Hungary, and it's because we found out that in towns, the places where we have most pollution is the crossroads. So the question was, what if we reduce that and we make sure that we put AI to make it more fluid so that cars stay less in the crossroads? And fiddly-dee, it works. Another example, and I like to say personal stories, I hope you don't mind. I was this weekend with a bunch of friends that I know from university, and now we meet regularly. It's called the regularly lunch, a monthly regular lunch. It sounds corporate, but they are not. And we debate a lot of things, and now we also have our kids with us, so that they also start to get involved in the conversation. And we talked about homeworks. And one of my colleagues, not programmer again, not technical background, said, listen, my kid is in the 6th grade and I have no clue how to solve the geometry problems that I have in the homeworks. My husband was smiling, he doesn't have that problem, but I do. So we said, so why don't you use AI? And there is, besides the example that I've provided here, in Romania, for example, we have a collaboration with an NGO called Digital Nation that has created a tutor, an AI tutor. It's called Saro, and it's intended to provide support, to create motivation, even some gamification for the pupil to continue learning. And when when they think they had hit the bottom rock, to be supported and to reach out to the teacher, to the parent, and to involve them and to create this an experience that keeps the kid in school. And why I'm mentioning this is because I do have a cuckoo nest over my head, and that's education. I truly believe there is no other way but to get educated as a kid, to have a chance in life. That was my story. And at least in Romania, we have one of the highest growth of dropouts in school. So what if AI, what if technology can help us reduce the gaps and keep kids in school? So that means that, as we have done before, democratized information, we could democratize technology and AI for the good of everybody. And the studies that we have done have shown us that there is a huge economic impact that can be brought by the usage of AI. And I do want to tell you that, mentioning before 133 languages in Google Translate, with the power of AI, we plan to get to 1,000. And this is economic impact. And another personal example, if you allow me. We do spend a lot of summers in Bulgaria and in Greece, because you guys have amazing seaside resorts and places and food and people, but we don't speak Bulgarian and we don't speak Greek. We don't, I'm sorry. Yet, I cannot tell you how many times, many times, with our phone, we have managed to speak, order amazing food, have amazing conversations even, with the taxi drivers, with the restaurant people, with people that we've encountered. And this is just my story. But this has economic impact. Because I'm coming here, I'm going to Greece and any other place, knowing that I can buy, so I can impact your economy, my economy, the world's economy, by using this technology. So everything is connected in this ecosystem. It's not by chance, it's not random. Another example that I would like to share, this really was something that I didn't think much of, but now I find it extraordinary. I don't know how many of you have ever used Google Lens. Is one of the features of Google Photos. What it helps you is to make a picture of a product, and then, using multimodal search, you add text or even audio, and you search for that product. This is extraordinary because You know, it goes back to the roots of how images was introduced to search. If you remember, there was an evening where Jennifer Lopez wore an amazing green dress, and everybody searched that night about that, and the engineer said, so what if people could find pictures? So now, not like 15 years later, maybe less, we can not only search for that dress, but we could also say in that box how much it costs and where can I find it. And the results are there. Another example. I really liked your examples on the tasks because I believe the same thing. It's about the tasks that can be reduced, and I call AI a trampoline. I really like to call it like that because I've seen how it can reduce the time I need to spend on doing some routine tasks, like taking a whole bunch of text, read it, summarize it, and take some points out of it. This is time. This is my most precious resource. And what if using any kind of AI, I can reduce that time there and I can use it in my other elements of what I want to do. I've mentioned search already, but what I can promise you is that we continue the rhythm of experimenting every day so that search becomes even better and better and gives you a better experience in your quests for finding answers. And yes, AI can be and is already doing tremendous work on YouTube. And I think what we are putting at the disposal of the creators, it's something remarkable because it stands still in the same thing. What could be done so that the creators' work is boosted with even more support to empower their creativity? To edit, to create content, to put it and spread it online. And I haven't even, I've mentioned here the example of Pixel 8, 9, whichever you want. 9 was a great success, it seems. And one of the things that I loved when I discovered how AI was introduced, and I'll give you an example, is the feature of Add Me. You know that there's always a group of people that needs to have a picture in their holidays. I always have that issue. And now you can do the picture without the photographer in it, do another one with the photographer in, and then say to Google Photos, just add me in the initial picture. Another example that goes more to the business side is a concrete one with one example of a name, but there are so many such examples, and I do hope if you have time to go use Think with Google. It's a free resource where you find extremely relevant case studies for your businesses on verticals of various industries. And this example is very important because it's about profit. How do you reduce time spent on identifying what is not on the shelf, bring it from the back door, and make sure that people are always buying? Using AI again. And this is just one example that can make the difference on how many dollars you count at the end of the month. I have promised to also bring some numbers for Bulgaria because I think it needs to be relevant to you as an audience. And this is a study that Google has mandated to implement consulting, a partner of ours, and researched a bunch of countries and how the economy in the next 10 years could be impacted if we see a usage of AI in various industries. And we've presented this also in Romania because this study is done this year. And it all depends on how we use these numbers. So I hope you will find it relevant and obviously challenge yourselves to see how will you pace this. So let's dig in. The research said that in the next 10 years, there is huge opportunity for impacting your GDP. Very similar results have been shown in all the countries in CE that we have researched. And I do want to tell you that I've met with the people who have done the research. They are a bunch of researchers from Denmark, and they have told us that they see similar situations in Denmark, a country where one of the elements that is researched here, that is public administration, is doing a lot of steps in understanding how could we do more so that we make this swift implementation bring us more money in our GDP. So, let's talk about GDP. There is an estimation of 5% increase, but the research also says that if there is a swifter implementation, more focus on implementing Gen AI in your economy, you can get to 8%. And I want to go back to education, because I told you I'm fascinated about this topic. In Romania, less than 3% of the GDP is dedicated to education. So imagine what we could do only in that field if we would have this extra money. 5% extra, 8% extra, given to education, given to health, and I can go on with this example, to infrastructure and so on. Now this is also very important because we are talking about the areas that could have biggest impact. And very similarly to Romania, we have seen that we have a lot of work that we can do in public administration. And I want to give you an example that I've heard the Minister of Digitization say in Romania 2 weeks ago in one of our events. He said that in the next 3 years, 33% of the civil servants in Romania will retire. 33%. In 3 years. How do you replace all these people in such a short period of time? You can't. But what if, and not only that, how fast you replace them, those who will come new, how will they understand what they need to do? It will take a lot of time. So what if you create this pool of resources, of know-how, using AI, and make the ones who come after get inside faster and be more efficient and more productive in a shorter period of time. And I imagine this is valid for many industries, similar to business services, similar to IT&C, finance as well. And clearly, if you take the example of a lawyer, and to continue what Petra was saying, how many of the tasks of the job of a lawyer could be augmented or helped by the trampoline of AI so that we speed up the efficiency and gain time and resource. I've mentioned this already, so I will not linger on it, but yes, the faster we do things, the more we see the impact. And I do want to remind you, there was a research we did a few years ago called Digital Challengers in CE. And we have seen similar information when we were talking about how we could adopt faster mobile technology, apps technology, and in general technology and digitization. And it was very similar because our countries have very close ranking in the DESI report, the Index of European Digital Skills. And we are very similar, so we need to work together potentially to speed up the game where we are. What happens if we don't speed up the game? Well, instead of 8%, we would see a 1%. So it's not a minus. How come? I really spent some time thinking about this. It's because there are, whether we want or not, early adopters. There are companies that will drive this change and will have a positive impact. But the question is rather, in this race that we have on economies, and in this race to get more investment in the country, where do we want to stay? Where do we want to be? Do we want to be those who are the early adopters and make the change and benefit? Do you want to ride the wave? Or we wait? The topic has been already raised, but to also show some numbers on it, we are talking about a 5% of the total jobs that could be changed by usage of AI. Majority of jobs will not be impacted at all in the next 10 years because potentially, for example, let's say agriculture. It will take some time until we'll get to the level of technology that we see in countries like Japan or other very technologized companies that are using AI even in agriculture. So those jobs have less impact in the next 10 years. What we do see is that we have a bunch of jobs that will have, as said before, tasks that can be influenced in a positive way, hopefully, by getting more efficient and getting more time for other topics. I think the story that I am telling you today is also because I mentioned my daughter is 16 and I am thinking, what should she study? Should she be a bioengineer, as she said, or should she learn how to understand soft skills or how she should interact with other humans better? I don't know. I don't. But what I do try as an individual, as a person, is to understand this, understand technology, and make it in my usage, not the other way around. And this is also what the story of the report shows for our countries, and especially for public institutions that could make the benefit of it. Closing my presentation, I do want to emphasize this element. There is no other way but with training. Should you be interested, there are a lot of courses that are for free online. You just need to do a short research or search and discover them and decide. Decide. That's my plead for you. Decide what you think is the best usage of technology, be it AI or another one, for your businesses and for your lives. The pressure that we feel exists. CEOs say it in the research that I'm presenting here. But it means nothing, really nothing, if we decide what we want to do with it. And I do hope that you agree with the 3 words that I've mentioned that are the legend of the story we as a company want to say, because it's very important that we are in this story together. And I do hope you will have a great day today, and when you go home, you will decide what to do with AI and how to use it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisabeta.
Thank you.
It was very interesting. Just one question.
Yes, please.
We just saw the potential for GDP increase in Bulgaria. What about Romania, if we compare the potential?
Beautifully enough, we are talking also about 5-7%.
5-7%.
Yes. So
Okay.
there seems to be synergies, not just between Romania and Bulgaria, but in general, the entire CE. And I do want to mention something. The Draghi report, maybe some of you have heard of it,
Yeah, of course.
didn't even mention CE. There was not once the word Central Eastern Europe. We need to be on the map. We need to make sure that we're heard, we're listened. I'm not even getting to Schengen here. We need to be part of this story. We need to be mentioned in it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time in Sofia. Thank you.
Thank you.